She's standing there. She fixed it with her hair dryer.
Oh yeah, there you go. Fashion, fashion saves the day yet again.
Yeah.
There's Nathan. How's things down in southeastern Kentucky?
Well, right now I'm in Lexington, so
Oh
it's
well,
probably much better than what it is down there right now. But
no, okay, good, good. Well, I mean, not good, but good for you.
yeah, it's yeah, it's man, what a week of weather around here. I mean, we got
Oh,
everything possible.
Tell you. There's Mr. Emmett. Hi, Mr. Emmett.
Damn it!
hey, Mr. Emmett.
Good to see everybody is safe and warm at least.
Wife, my wife plays fiddle and violin,
Uh huh.
so she had me get one of these deals here to put on there.
Does it feel more comfortable for you?
Well, I'm getting used to it, but he says the idea is to hold it like that.
To where you can
Then,
hold it and not have to use your hand. Yeah,
yeah, so
it
I'm
does
I'm
take a
trying that
lot.
out.
Yeah, and and there's different designs of those too. Sometimes the more you play, the more you kind of know about what's comfortable for you and can find one that fits you a little better sometimes. And some of them are made really adjustable where you can bend them around a lot too. And
Yeah, this one's got you can make it higher or lower
yeah,
this way.
yeah, you kind of keep playing with it until it feels comfortable to you. I'll tell you about an hour ago. I was hanging a picture and I stabbed a screwdriver right through my finger.
Oh my
Got it
God.
all. I've got it all bandaged up right now, but it's like still throbbing, and so we'll see how this goes.
And it's bigger.
Yeah,
I'm gonna mute here.
yeah. It's all just we got more people coming on. We'll just take a minute, everybody get tuned up and warmed up a little bit. All right, well we can go ahead and get started a little bit today. I just got an email from Ella. She's trying to log on, but they had some power outages that knocked their internet out and trying to get it all back up and running. So she may jump in here with us at some point, and I'm sure a lot of people are probably dealing with that right now. So let's just start. Let's review a little bit, run through some of the tunes we've been working on. Um, Maybe first we'll start with what we did last week. Um, or well, not last week. Last time we was here. Last week I wasn't here. Which we'll figure out a time. Maybe we can add an extra week at the end or something, or if anybody wants to set up some time where we could even meet one on one and have some practice or something to kind of make up for last week. We'll figure that out. But we'll talk a little bit more about that before we leave and try to get together a game plan to make that up. It was quite a week here, man. We had all kind of everything from ice and sleet and snow and all on top of each other. And today I went outside and it's pretty wild because you're actually just walking on top of a layer of ice no matter where you go, But hopefully all that's past us. It's supposed to be like 50 some degrees next week, so. All right, well, let's play through the tune a few times and everybody just play along. Try to play it pretty slow tempo. We're going to start down there on that second finger on the E string. How do y'all feel about that? Is there any part of that you want to break down? Anybody got any questions about that? Want to play any parts of it slower?
What's the name of that one again?
The Girl I Left Behind Me. All right, let's see. What did we do before that? Soldier's Joy, right? Let's all work through that one together. So this one's in the key of D, remember? And we're going to start on the open A string. Ready? Here we go. How's that? Everybody feel good about that? Everybody getting it? Yeah, yeah, kind of, yeah, sort of. Uh, all right, let's see. Let's do shortening bread next. So this one's in key of A. We'll start on the third finger on our E string. Right, here we go. All right. Anybody have any questions about that? No? Well, hopefully everybody's, learning these tunes a little bit at a time, and make sure you're practicing all of them. Don't just practice the easy ones. It's very easy. It's easy for me anyway to spend all my time on the ones I really know, and but you always want to push yourself to practice the hard ones too. Let's see. Let's do boil them cabbage down. It's not really easy playing with a band-aid on it. It keeps hitting that other string. I can always hear it. And every time I come back to it, I try to move my finger the other way, but oh well. Alright, and this one we're going to start on our second finger on the A string. Ready? Here we go. Looked like everyone was having a good time, at least. That's what matters. All right, so I thought today we'd work on a couple more scales, a little bit more, delve in a little bit more of that, learn some different fingerings and things, and then we'll learn a new tune. That's we'll learn Mississippi Sawyer today, which is in the key of D, and we'll kind of incorporate some more kind of rhythm bowing techniques that we haven't done yet. So last week we worked on, if you remember, we worked on the key of G, and we learned that in 2 different octaves. So if we start on the open string, we got So what happened was when we were on the 2 low strings, our middle finger was up against our 3rd finger on the G and D string. And then when we transitioned down to the A and E string, we shifted our middle finger back towards the 1st finger, right? Which gave us the second octave. So we were able to play those using those patterns, playing 2 octaves of that key. Now, one easy thing to do is if you take the pattern that we used on the 2nd octave of G, so the pattern that starts on the D string with our 2nd finger up against our 1st, if we take that same pattern and we move it across the string and start up here on our 3rd finger G string, that gives us a C major scale. So essentially we're taking that same pattern that we used for that higher octave of G, and we took it over and started on a low C note. Therefore, you get that same scale, that same finger patterning to play that major scale. Does that make sense? Did I describe that easy enough? Now, with that being said, that gives you the key of C. The keys that we've worked on so far, A, D, and G, are what I call very fiddle-friendly keys, in that there are a lot of open strings, and as a result, a lot of the old-time music that we play is primarily in those keys, usually A, D, or G. And that also, you know, is friendly to the other instruments that may be involved. So with banjos and guitars and everything, and the way that everything's tuned, those end up being very relatively easy keys. So a lot of the tunes that we're going to learn are in those keys. And, you know, there's probably a lot of fiddle players that go their whole life without even worrying about any of the fingering patterns to play in other keys, like B flat or playing F or something. But there are, you know, there are a lot of fiddle tunes, say, in C. C is a little bit more of an advanced key to play in, because even though we have that same octave that we just played for the key of C, if you keep going up from there, your finger positions have to shift quite a bit. So the keys that we have learned so far, when we are building those patterns, one of 2 things is happening. Either our middle finger is going towards our 1st finger, or our middle finger is going towards our 3rd finger. And that holds true for the keys of G and D and A when we are playing on the higher octave. So to kind of illustrate my point here, let's take the scale of A, and we're going to start on that open A string, and for this pattern, our middle finger is always going to be up against our third, going across both the A and the E strings. So if we all play that together, it's then first finger, then skip a space, second finger, third finger up against the second, open E string, first finger, skip a space, second finger, then third finger up against the second. So with the key of A, we can get a second lower octave. With the key of G, we had a lower octave and then we got the higher octave. With the key of A, we've already learned that pattern, but if we start on a low A, we can get the lower octave. What happens though is that if you think of the major scale formula that we talked about of having a whole step, half step, whole step, half step to create the major scale, what happens is if we start on a low A, which is our first finger on the G string, that becomes our first note. And then we skip a space. And then here we have to skip another space. So what happens is our third finger is actually higher than it's ever been in any of those other keys. Does that make sense to everybody? So essentially what happens to play this octave is that all of your fingers are going to have a space between them across the G and the D string, and then we're going to end on the open A string. So it's going to go like this. Does that make sense to everybody? So instead of us having our middle finger up against the first or the third, we're just going to have a space between all of our fingers on those three strings. And it's a little bit hard to get used to, because what happens is that we always talked about in the key of D and the key of G, you could play the open string above your third finger to get yourself in tune. Well, that if you're that doesn't hold true when you're up there in that octave for that key. So if you're interested in delving into other keys other than those normal keys, what happens is that you have to shift some of those fingerings either flat or sharp. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay. So in a good way to do that is if you use like a tuner or something, like a tuner on your phone, or if you have a tuner clipped, you can just play those notes real slow and then adjust your fingers until you get it in tune. And then that's going to both help train your fingers to feel where that point is and train your ears to really hear where it is. And it's not always perfect, but that's a good way for practice. If you practice those scales just real slow, put a tuner in front of you where you can see it, and just try to hit those notes in tune. It'll just help you in the long run, spending a few minutes to do that here and there. I see the little dog in the background. Mine's back here sound asleep. Aw. Might have been restless here recently. Too much snow. He only weighs 9 pounds, so he can't last very long outside, and he's tired of being cooped in too. Does anybody have any questions about that? About that scale that we just worked on there?
Nathan, I went out on a limb a little bit and I played some songs that I know and just tried playing fiddle along with them just to try to find the scales in those songs. And I noticed that extra wide fingering on some keys, and I don't know what keys they were, but
Right.
I did notice that pattern, and that kind of helped me find out that there's other scales. You know, even like with minor scales, sometimes you can find those too. So it's pretty
Yeah.
interesting to try to play along with songs that you already know.
Right. And when you're playing along with recordings, you know, you have to be aware that sometimes, depending on if it's a really old recording, if it was recorded at the wrong speed, it may be a higher pitch than what they were really playing in. So you got to be aware of that too if it's something that's really old. And then sometimes people, you know, in the studio, musicians will just tune their music, tune their instruments up a half step or something, tune the whole thing up to give it a little bit more punch to it. So, you know, it's kind of a trick that if you wanted to, you know, say you're playing something in G and you needed to play it in G sharp for some reason, you could tune the whole instrument up a whole half step and use the same fingerings. And so that's a little bit of a trick that I've seen some fiddlers like who hated to play in B. They would just try to tune the instrument up and play out of A position. Um, so, you know, there's little tricks like that to be aware of when you're trying to listen to recordings and find where people are, you know. Let's see. So let's start on today's tune. Um, it's not a real. I don't think it's a real difficult tune, but it does have a lot of notes in it and some bowing that we haven't done yet. Let me just play through it a few times. Okay. So it's really all just on the A and the E string, but we literally use every fingering, you know, every fingering spot that there is across both of those strings. So it'll really get you used to the scale, and will kind of really get you used to going up and down those positions. So right off the bat is kind of this little bowing rhythm thing that might take a little work to get used to in the beginning. So it's this little lick right here. So if you think about when we were doing our regular just a bum diddy rhythm on the open string, It's really that kind of rhythm with your right hand. And what I'm doing is I'm going to start on that E string, and I'm going to put both my first and my third finger down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull down, and as I'm pushing back up, I'm going to lift my hand and then hammer it back down. Everybody kind of get that rhythm? It's a good technique. There's a lot of tunes that have that kind of, pull off, hammer on rhythm, and it's a good thing just kind of sit and spend time just doing that. So that's the key to this, especially this first part. It has a lot of that rhythm in it. So we're going to do that on these fingers, and then we're going to shift fingers and do the same rhythm, right? So the very first phrase, so everybody let me do that again. So everybody got that? Let me do it one more time. Alright, so that's the first phrase. Now the next phrase, we're going to do the same kind of rhythm, only we're going to go between our second and our first finger. Which, remember, in this scale, our second finger is right up against our first finger, so it's going to be like this. Alright, now let me put those two parts together. Alright, let's all try that together. Okay. Alright, so that's that first part phrase there. Alright, so next we're going to go, so that third finger's up there on the A, and then we're going to come down here, and we've seen that same lick in other tunes. So let me put all that little part together. Let me hold it like this so you can see a little bit. Okay. Now the very last part of it is make sense? All right. All right, so let's try to, so if I put that, let me put all that together real slow now. All right, let's see. Give everybody a minute to work on it a little bit, and then we'll try the B part. Okay, let me play through the whole thing again real slow, and everybody try to play along if you want. So this time I play the taters with it at the beginning. Okay, so that's the A part, and that all repeats twice. And then you go to the B part. So if that wasn't long enough. Alright, so let me play just the whole B part together by itself. Okay, so let's break that down even slower. And really, most of it is things that are already in the A part. A lot of the same licks. They're just in a little bit different order. So the very first part, starting on that first finger E string. So that's... Everybody give that a try. Okay. Alright, so the next part we're going to do Does everybody see that? So that lick, that da 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 da, so start on the open E string there, and then come up to your A string, second, first. That's kind of the hardest lick. You're going second, open, second, third, and then come down to your second on the E string. So that's kind of the first. That's really the first half part of it. The second time through, you do exactly the same thing, only we use the ending lick that we had in the A part. Alright, what's everybody think about that? You got any parts you want me to break down even slower? Or do we want to try to put those parts together?
Nathan, is there any way you can break down the B part again?
Yeah. Alright, so the very first two notes of both of those parts is this first finger and then third finger on the A string. So, and then here it's all on the E string. And then here you go to your open E string, then go up to your A string and do 2, 1, open. Then this little lick starts on your second finger A string. That last note is the second finger E string. Alright, so let me do that much again. Alright, and then the second half of that part starts the same. And then we end it just like the ending of the A part. put both of those together. Okay. Now, let's try to put both of those together. All right. So we'll start on that third finger E string. And right off the bat, you do that bowing lick. Dum ba dum bum. Right. All right, I'll play the taters and then let's all just try it together real slow. How's everybody feel about that? Think we can do that? Yeah. It's a great tune. It's a great square dance tune. It's got the right type of rhythm to it for square dancing, you know. Key of D. I always hear key of D's for dancing. Yeah. Anybody got any questions? Anybody want to play for us? No, no. What are y'all's thoughts about making up a class? We could either just tack on another day that we could all meet, or I'd be willing if any of you all would like to just kind of meet one-on-one with me and work on things that you're working on a little bit more personally, or maybe you have a tune that we haven't covered that you'd like to learn. I'd be willing to do that. Just if anybody would like to do that, just send me an email and we schedule a time and just kind of have some one-on-one time that way. Emmett, do you have something you want to say? Thought maybe you had your hand up, and maybe you're talking to somebody else. Oh, there you go.
Can we learn Squirrel Hunters?
Squirrel Hunters? Yeah, you know that tune? No, you don't? Well,
I just wanted to learn it.
Where'd you hear it?
Yeah, where did you hear it?
You told me about it, remember?
Oh, I did? Well, we'll definitely learn that one. Maybe we'll do that next time. That's a good one. There'll be another one in the key of A.
Good idea, Emmett. I want to learn that one too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Everybody should go listen to John Hartford's version of that. That's a great version of it. I just saw the other day on YouTube there's a whole concert of the John Hartford String Band playing at the Telluride Bluegrass Festival. And they do a really rocking version of that tune. And they got the whole concerts on there live. It's like, I don't know, it's like during this pandemic people started releasing all their footage online that they were holding for all these years, so now you're starting to see all this stuff come out now.
What was the name of that squirrel?
Squirrel Hunters. Yeah. But yeah, we'll definitely learn that tune. And I don't know, in the meantime, if any of y'all that want to work with me one-on-one, send me an email and we'll schedule some time. I'm pretty flexible. I mean, this is what I do all day, so even if it's in the middle of the day at the office, I can make time for it, you know. It's like most of my day I spend in front of a computer doing paperwork, but they always let me play music whenever I want, you know.
I appreciate the offer for a little bit of personal time. That would be great. Thank you.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you know, it's one thing to do this in a class, but it's much, you know. Ideally, we'd like to all be in the same room, you know. We'll get there someday. We're getting closer every day, it feels like, so. And this big snowstorm here, I think, helped things around Kentucky. Keeping people indoors without a choice, stopping the spread, you know. Planet's trying to tell us to stay home. All right, well, does everybody feel good about that? Does anybody got any questions, anything they want to say before we go? You'll get a recording, I guess, maybe tomorrow. I don't know. Down there around where Cowan Creek offices are, I know they had some really bad power outages and stuff down there, so I don't know. But as soon as they can, I'm sure they'll put this up on YouTube for us, and you can go link to the video. And has everybody figured out how to like speed up and slow down things on there? Yeah, I think that's pretty helpful. That was a good idea. All right, well, happy fiddling. I'll see you all next week.
See y'all. Good seeing you again.
Well, be careful out there.
Yeah.
Thanks again, Nathan.
Thanks a lot. See you all.
Thank you.
Bye, Emmett.
Bye.